the next 7 days, we will be tracking our next winter storm, Jackson. Remember, hashtag JAXON on social media, and you can follow along with all the impacts, any advisories, pictures you want to include as well. We'll try and get those on the air. Today, though, it is about recovery in the east, temperature-wise. We're up to 52 in Atlanta, 57 in Dallas, but here we go. The mess underway in the west. That means some mountain snow trekking across the Rockies, too. By tomorrow, it'll be a heads-up Denver. 48 degrees for you tomorrow, but as we get into Sunday, it is snow and cold and blowing snow at that. 29 degrees for you. Keeping in mind, too, with any of these areas seeing the snowfall, the winds will be pretty gusty, 30-plus miles per hour likely as the system continues to wind up, and that could mean a lot of reduced visibility and trouble on the roadways, especially Sunday and into Monday. By Monday, we're in Minneapolis, near Madison and the UP of Michigan. On the south side, we've already seen some showers and thunderstorms across the south on Sunday. That continues east on Monday, so it's rain this go around for Birmingham up to Nashville. It is just too warm. In fact, rain all the way up into the northeast. We're talking Philadelphia, New York, Hartford, Worcester on the rainy side here on Tuesday. Maybe seeing some of that transition over to snow, especially the interior northeast and New England, and that continues on into Wednesday. Notice for Wednesday, most of the country pretty quiet. We don't see this huge Arctic invasion behind this system, although cooler, of course, 28 now for the high in Minneapolis on Wednesday, 35 in Chicago, but already watching the next round of unsettled weather across the west. That means more coastal rain for San Francisco up to Seattle. Temperatures there into the 40s, and we'll see some snow mixing with that as well. Some lingering snow showers in the northeast, but that gets wiped away come Thursday. Again, by Thursday, towards the end of the week, we'll be watching that next system move into the west, staying unsettled and cooler. Dr. Greg Postel is here with the numbers to back up how it's felt. It has felt pretty awful, even by winter standards.
Yep.
We're going to see things change big time.
It's not just Penobscot, Maine. I mean, everywhere east of the Rockies, right, has been way below average. And a lot of cities have seen some of their coldest two-week periods on record. So it's been a dose of winter that has had staying power across the eastern half of the country. This is through basically the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's up there on some of the coldest starts to the year on record for a lot of these areas.
Notice that we're kind of off the charts here.
Right.
For like a 10-day to 20-day period to be 8 to 10 degrees on either side of normal. That's a lot. That's a huge departure, and that's what we've seen in the Ohio Valley and many other places east of the Rockies.
And as you mentioned, one of the other calling cards, it has had staying power, but it's not going to stay for long, for at least much longer.
No, it isn't. If you head between now, really, and the end of the month, I know this map really looks at the last week of January, but really beginning now, big things are changing in the jet stream, and it's going to allow the very good possibility of it being well above average in the east.
I mean, you couldn't get more opposite. It's really flopping. Okay, so let's get into what we've been through and then how this is going to change the next couple of weeks.
January so far has featured a very interesting pattern to the jet stream with a huge ridge in the west. It's been actually really warm in places well north of the Arctic Circle, and a big trough in the east has allowed that Arctic air to come straight south all the way to Florida. Pretty much, right? So that persistent trough has allowed it to be cold for so long. It just hasn't moved very much. Over and over again, we saw the same thing with a pattern like this. But we are going to see changes.
Right, and it takes work to break down, this kind of shape in the jet stream. So, it's going to take a little bit more time, but once it gets going, we're going to see some relief.
The rest of the month, we do think the pattern will what's called retrograde. In other words, move back to the west. That ridge that was once located over western North America will head back toward the central Pacific, more typical of sort of the ENSO condition we're in right now, inside baseball. But the idea is that this is something that maybe we expected before the season started.
Right.
Do you remember when all the forecasts were for pretty warm east of the Rockies? That hasn't happened.
The cold has completely wiped that from my memory.
Totally.
But I believe you. I trust you. But this is going to be as we start, and we're heading towards meteorological spring. What, just another 6 weeks or so?
Yes, and that's good news climatologically. But now also, Marie, as you were saying, right, the pattern is actually going to go settle into something that maybe we thought was going to happen for the vast majority of the winter. So good, we'll take it, right? Whatever, it looks like it's going to be warm the rest of January and probably beginning of February in the east of the country, east of the Rockies. Now, not warm, not like 80s.
Right, but not Arctic.
But not Arctic, right. At least not a lot of that.
But what's interesting, colder in the west means unsettled. So they're going to see storminess.
Indeed.
Right. But
Let's look at New York. Yeah,
yeah,
this is cool, just to show you how we kind of stair-step our way out of it. New York, pretty nice. This is going from tomorrow for the next 10 days. There are a lot of reds on that map, above average rather than blues.
And what I don't see are crashes in those high temperatures when they do dip.
Not so light.